Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About Clutter. I'm your host, Margo. In today's episode, I want to talk about things to declutter in your closet. Specifically, we're going to be focusing on 15 items that you can actually start on today while you're listening to this podcast. If you're at home, you're around your closet, why don't you join me in getting rid of some of these things and making more room in your space? You ever have that moment where you open up your closet in the morning, doors are wide open and you're just standing there staring at all your stuff and you're like, I have nothing to wear. And your wardrobe is essentially overflowing with things. So the reason for that is because you have a lot of stuff, but the things just don't speak to you, whether they're old and dingy or they don't fit right or they're for your fantasy self. But the point is that for all of us women, think about that outfit that you have that whenever you put it on, you feel fantastic and your day just happens to go right. That should be every single article of clothing in your closet. But unfortunately, the reality is we have a lot of stuff, whether we buy things because they're on sale or we buy things because we hope one day we'll wear them, but that day never comes. Did you know that we wear 20% of our wardrobe 80% of the time? So what does that mean for you, ladies? It means that 80% of what is currently staring back at you in your closet is simply clutter. So let's jump into 15 things you can declutter in your closet while listening to this podcast. If you're not able to declutter with me right now, I recommend that you take out a pen and a piece of paper and write them down. Whenever we're decluttering, it helps to have a list or some type of decluttering plan for what we're targeting first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. If you have a plan, that plan helps you decrease overwhelm and increase motivation. So let's jump into it. All right, we're going to start off super easy, ladies. Ditch the shoes that hurt your feet. We are all guilty of this. We are all guilty of holding on to shoes. Typically, they're high heels. For me, they're stilettos. We hold on to them because in theory, they look sexy. They look fantastic. Maybe we put on our heels with a dress, but we can't get past our living room. I'm sorry to tell you that the day where you will actually leave your house in them will never come. And I know you spent money on it, and I know they're probably so gorgeous, but it's time to let them go. If your shoes don't fit right, if they hurt your feet, they are not serving you. All they're doing is taking up space in your closet. Number 2, out of style handbags. Ladies, on average, I think we at a minimum have 15 to 20 handbags in our closet. How many handbags do you actually wear? If you want to hear a funny story, I have handbags. I do. I have a few. I decluttered a couple of years ago and I actually got rid of a bunch. But here's a funny thing about me. I hate handbags. I swear to God, I'm like a guy sometimes. I prefer pockets. I will actually intentionally buy jackets, right? Or like spring outerwear that has pockets for the sole purpose of putting my keys and my phone in it. So when I was decluttering, it was really funny and I was like laughing. I'm like, oh my God, I have all of these handbags, yet I hate purses. I hate handbags and I never wear them. And I was just like, why am I holding on to this? And I thought to myself, for my fantasy self, right? For my potential future self, I feel like, Margo should wear a purse. What if I have an event to go to or whatnot? Like, I feel like I should wear a handbag. And then I'm like, yeah, I avoid handbags like the plague. And again, I'm not knocking having handbags. I admire women who wear them and it matches their outfits. And I think that that's incredible. I'm just not one of those women. So when I decluttered, I essentially kept 2. I kept one going out handbag, and then I kept one kind of everyday handbag, and that is it. And ask me the last time I wore either one. Probably been a year or so now. So go through your handbags. Handbags are things that go in and out of season, right? Handbags also tend to fit our styles and our styles tend to change. So if this is a handbag that you have not worn in the past year, or if you have handbags that look alike. You ever have that where you have like 5 black handbags and they all look incredibly similar, but like, do you need 5? Probably not. So my recommendation is, by the way, and a little tip here is there are plenty of apps like Poshmark where you can actually sell your clothing, your handbags, and your shoes. So think about it this way. You are decluttering your wardrobe and you can make a couple of bucks. Next, we have another easy one. Number 3 is worn out clothing that's embarrassing to wear. What do I mean by that? Clothing that has holes in it. Clothing that is torn, right? Clothing that you probably take out because maybe it's comfortable, but you're too embarrassed to wear outside. If you're not wearing it, there's absolutely no reason to keep it. And maybe you're holding on to it because you're like, oh, I just want to find. I remember one time I had like a red flannel shirt and I loved that flannel shirt and it ended up ripping and my mom actually helped sew it back up. I mean, this flannel shirt went through hell, but it was so comfortable. And at some point I like stopped wearing it because even inside the house, it was just embarrassing to wear, but yet I was still holding on to it because I was trying real hard to find a replacement. That makes absolutely no sense because I can let the item go, trash it, by the way. No, I couldn't even donate it or sell that shirt. And I could have just continued to, look for another one. The point is that sometimes we're completely irrational about keeping certain articles of clothing, specifically those that we hold on to because once they used to be comfortable, but we no longer wear them. So ladies, if the clothing doesn't make you feel good about yourself, if it's gross, dingy, worn out, let it go. Number 5, and some of you might disagree with this, get rid of your wedding dress. Yes, I went there. I was incredibly guilty of this for many, many years. So I've actually been married twice. And for my first wedding, I had a very fancy wedding. And I held on to my wedding dress in a box. I had it like professionally cleaned and packaged, preserved, whatever you want to call it. And I held on to that wedding dress for like 10 years. Actually, I didn't even hold on to it, by the way. It was in storage at my mom's house. And why was I holding on to it? Now, did I ever think I was ever going to wear it? Absolutely not, because my taste now is much different than my taste was in my early 20s. So I would never, ever, ever wear it. But, maybe it was a sentimental item. And I was very, very reluctant to get rid of it. And then I finally ended up getting rid of it. And I don't regret it at all. And then sometimes I think we hold on to wedding dresses. For example, I have a daughter. And sometimes we hold on to our wedding dresses because we think to ourselves, you know what? I might want to pass this on to my little one. Okay, look, truth talking here. Most likely your child will not want to wear your wedding dress. I'm just saying, and this goes for a lot of other clothing that we have in our wardrobe. There are times where we hold on to certain pieces of clothing and shoes or purses because we want to pass it down to our children. So I encourage you to think about yourselves when you were younger. Did you want any of the stuff that your mom had? And now, obviously, while you were a little kid, you played dress up, of course. But I'm saying when you were like able to make clothes buying decisions and maybe purchase clothing on your own, like maybe 16 years old and up, like, did you really want any of the clothing that your mom had? Probably not. So I don't think that that's a really good reason, or rather practical reason, to hold on to items. But having a girl, I completely understand the urge to want to hold on to some of these things and pass them on to our little ones. So if you have a wedding dress hanging out in your closet, taking up a ton of space, maybe you want to look into either donating it or selling it. And that actually leads comfortably into thing to declutter in your closet number 6, and that is clothing that you're saving for your kids. They won't want it. Let it go. All right, on to number 7. Number 7 is clothing that no longer fits you. So a lot of times, for example, after we have kids, we unfortunately are not the same size we were pre-baby. And we hope to, at some point in the future, regain our pre-baby weight. But the reality is that sometimes that doesn't happen. So we hold on to a lot of clothing from our past, and it's not serving us. And in the sense that it's not serving us in a positive way. A lot of times, especially if we're holding on to clothing that, where the size is smaller than we are now, I call that shame clothing, because it's the type of clothing that when we see it hanging in our closet, it just constantly reminds us of how we used to look. And maybe now we have insecurities, and, that really impacts our self-esteem. So I want to encourage every single one of you, if you have the shame clothing hanging in your closet, let it go. Declutter it, get rid of it, sell it, donate it. If you do end up losing weight, getting into better shape, I'm pretty sure you can purchase new clothing. But in the interim, if getting into that size 4 or size 6 that you used to be, if that's not around the corner, and when I say around the corner, I mean like within the next 6 months to a year, let it go. Let it go, because those articles of clothing are just a very negative reminder constantly. And you don't deserve that. It shouldn't be in your closet. Number 8, items with tags still on them. Yes. Ever make those purchases where you bought things and then you bring them home, and then the next day you're like, why the heck did I buy this? Like, I would never wear this, like, ever. I used to have this problem with dress shirts. So I am like a casual wearer. Like, my attire for many, many years has consisted of jeans and a t-shirt. And my version of fancying it up is maybe if I have to have like more of a, formal professional event, I will like throw a blazer on top of that. But dress shirts, dress skirts, pencil skirts, whatever, has never been my cup of tea. I admire it on other women. Like, I see women on TV or just out and about, and I'm like, oh my God, she is rocking that pencil skirt with style. And then I think to myself, it's like, in theory, I would totally want to wear that. And then I put it on and I just want to rip it off because it makes me feel completely and utterly uncomfortable. I've been guilty of purchasing dress shirts or like a pencil skirt and never wearing it because I happened to see something on TV or whatnot and it inspired me. And I was like, I need to be that woman. And I go out and I buy it and I bring it home and it has a tag on it. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to wear it yet. But you know what? Maybe in the future, in 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, I'll wear it. So I should keep it. And then I'm past the 30-day return policy. And now I'm stuck with this item with a tag still on it. And lo and behold, it's now been 4 years and I never wore it, nor do I have an intention of wearing it anyways. So if you can relate to this, the items that are in your closet with tags still on, either wear them, right? Because sometimes we lose items. If you're somebody who has like a ton of stuff in your closet, it's possible you have items in your closet with tags. You just don't know it because you have too much stuff and it's kind of hidden away. But if you have items in your wardrobe with tags still on them and you're never going to wear it, let it go. Get rid of it. It's just clutter. By the way, I have an entire program dedicated to teaching you how to declutter and organize your wardrobe. You know, it includes a whole plan and actually also includes tips on where to donate, how to sell, as well as how to create your perfect capsule wardrobe. It's an awesome course. If you're interested, just reach out to me and I'll actually leave a link to it in the description. Moving right along, number 9 is excess hangers. So you open your closet and there's like a hodgepodge and a mismatch of a bunch of different hangers, different sizes. And if I were to bet money, as you're taking out things from your closet, right, off the hangers, like a sweater or shirt, those other miscellaneous hangers with nothing on them kind of fall to the floor and maybe you just leave it there. The point is, you probably have a bunch of broken hangers or hangers that you're not going to use hanging in your closet. Recycle them. And a quick pro tip for you is if you're going to invest in hangers, right? Because, if you're somebody that's looking to not only declutter your closet, but organize it as well, I highly encourage you to swap out plastic hangers for velvet ones. Yes, velvet hangers are a little bit more expensive. However, they take up less space in your closet and closet space is valuable. All right, number 10. items that are no longer your style. So maybe, 10 years ago, pre-kids, you used to go out to lounges and bars and all of this stuff. Maybe you were on the dating scene and you had all of, kind of going out attire. And now you're a mom of 3 and your idea of going out is a ride to Target by yourself. Okay. So those 2 women probably dress very, very different. So I'm not saying, get rid of all of your going out clothes. My hope is that you still go out. Maybe you have date night, but you probably don't need like 20 dresses. I'm just saying, right? Unless you do, in which case it's fine, but you need to be able to justify it. So if you have a bunch of clothes hanging in your closet, right, that you are no longer your style, or actually maybe your style completely changed. Right? Maybe you changed. And our style does tend to change from our 20s to our 30s to our 40s to our 50s to our 60s, right? Like we kind of change every decade. So if you have a different style, let the previous style go. Let the previous you go. Embrace the current you, the present you. Number 11 are coats. So coats are bulky and they take up a lot of space. Coats, I usually recommend to my clients that they, in general, when they're decluttering any space, whether it's their wardrobe or anything else, it's to get rid of the bulky items first because that creates maximum impact. So if you have a bunch of bulky coats or, if you have children, our kids tend to grow out of their coats quite frequently. So if you have a bunch of coats, get rid of them. If they don't fit, if they're not your style, let them go. You can donate them to a coat drive. If they're in good condition, you can sell them as well. Number 12, luggage. So if you have luggage in your closet that is broken, that you're not going to use, a lot of times we hold on to luggage for in case of emergency. If it's luggage that can't be used, if the zipper's broken, if it's cracked, let it go. Trash it. It's actually really funny that I'm telling you all to get rid of luggage that's broken. So me and my family go on vacation at a minimum once a year. It's our annual family vacation. And we absolutely love it. It's to the Caribbean. We go away to the Dominican Republic. And I consider that like my second home. Just such a beautiful, beautiful place. Anyways, long story short. So last year, mine and my daughter's luggage, both of them actually, like that's it, past their prime. Both of them broke. Now, I ended up putting the 2 luggages back in my closet. Okay. Just wasn't even thinking about it. I was like, okay, I'll put it in the closet. Once I buy new ones, I'll get rid of these. And it's like, why would you do that? They're not functional. Like the zipper's broken and like the top part of another luggage is completely cracked. So what? Okay. Anyways, but we had just gotten back from vacation. I was tired. I unpacked all the stuff and I just naturally and habitually put the 2 suitcases in my closet. This year we decided to take another vacation. So we decided to vacation twice. So we took a shorter vacation. And as I'm preparing for the vacation, and I'm one of those people who like is an early packer, like I have to create a list and pack and repack multiple times, organization's my jam, whatever. Maybe I'm a little nutty. But with that said, I take out the luggages and then I remember that they're broken. And now it's a week before we're supposed to go away from vacation. And I'm like, crap, me and my daughter both don't have luggages. So, I ran out to Marshall's and we ended up getting 2 new luggages. But the point is, don't do what I did. If you know the luggages are not to be used, then get rid of them. The only time I actually say it's okay, or rather even encouraged to hold on to luggage, is if you're using it for storage. Because I am all for, instead of buying things, to kind of use what you have when it comes to storage solutions and organization. So if your luggage is being used to store, I don't know, crafts or sentimental items or whatnot, right? But that's its purpose is as a storage solution, then that's completely fine. But if it's just empty luggages taking up space in your closet, let it go. Number 13 is outdoor accessories. So these are your gloves, your scarves, your hats, same rule applies as to the coats, especially if we have kids, our kids grow out of these items. Sometimes we want to hold on to them for just in case emergency purposes, emergencies that tend to not come up. But just go through the outdoor accessories and get rid of anything that is maybe, old and unusable anymore. Maybe you don't fit into, or again, doesn't match with your style. Number 14 are pet accessories. So for all of you who have pets, right? Our dogs, our cats, our amazing companions also accrue a bunch of stuff. So for example, if you're somebody that dresses up your dog, or maybe your dog has coats, raincoats, whatnot, that they go outside in, if you have outfits, if you have just trinkets and toys for them, go through that stuff. And whatever they no longer fit in, whatever no longer fits, whatever no longer serves them, let it go. And the last thing to declutter in your closet, and let me know, are you guilty of this one? Are free tote bags. Oh my goodness. I mean, the amount of just sheer Target or Primark totes that I had at one point, I was like, why in the world do I need so many? And then I would also, on top of that, I have like my fancier totes. So if I'm out with my daughter, or like we're going to the beach or whatnot, and I need a tote to take with me, I would purchase a tote. But then I had all these other just random, totes for free or whatever, 5 cents, however much they charge. And it's just I felt like my closet was overflowing with different totes. So I feel like totes is something, I'm not even going to lie, totes is something that I need to declutter constantly. So I don't know, let me know, how many tote bags do you currently have in your closet? The truth is that most of us are hurting for storage space in our closets. Tossing these 15 categories will definitely open up a ton of room. Just remember to not clutter it back up again. Do a purge at least twice a year. I highly recommend that you do a wardrobe purge, or rather a closet purge, 4 times a year. That would be ideal. But who has time for that? I know. So there you have it. I hope that these 15 items will kind of give you a clear direction of what to tackle in your wardrobe. And I do promise you that once you declutter your closet, you will no longer encounter that feeling where you open up the doors in the morning and you're like, I have nothing to wear. What do I wear? Picking out clothing is going to be seamless because you're only going to leave. And my hope is that you're only going to leave feel good items, because you deserve to feel good in everything that you wear. Thank you so much for listening. As always, good luck on your decluttering journey, and always remember to be good to yourselves.